When you drink, are you trying to escape your reality? Are you doing it to celebrate? Are you doing it because you're depressed? I feel like the answer mostly circles back around to just wanting to escape reality and numb out, right? Like emotional numbness. It's a stress relief temporarily, but it always makes things worse the next day. To relieve anxiety, which it makes it worse the next day. It's like you're supplementing today's comfort, you're taking from tomorrow's comfort for comfort in today temporarily, and in long term, it's you're worse off. It's like a snowball effect that just never ends. So why do you want to escape emotionally? Why did I want to escape emotionally? It's the pain, the emotional pain. So what can you do to fix this? You need to battle with your emotions head on. You have to take them to the forefront and just learn to engage with them and let them pass, like all your thoughts, all your emotional status. Instead of numbing out each week or every day or whatever your circumstance is, you learn to live with it and feel the emotion and realize why it's there. You let it come to the forefront because you're suppressing these things, on a weekly basis, no matter what substance. And then when you stop, they come to the surface and other issues stem to the surface. Like you're not only battling wanting to numb out, you're battling other suppressed issues, right? There's a reason you're abusing substances. And until you face them head on and resolve them or come to peace with them, it's always going to be an issue. I've experienced a lot of emotional roller coaster the past several months during my year of sobriety. I'm at 11 months now. I have one more month to go until I hit a year. It's July 4th weekend, and I'm good. But yeah, these things will come to the surface. And when they do, you have to be ready to just not want to run and numb out. Like, it's so easy to just numb out, and forget. And it's a perpetual cycle that's never going to end unless you address it. And you will get better at dealing with your emotions. In time, everyone handles emotions differently. They're passed differently. Some people have it way worse than I ever have, and I have it way worse than some people ever had. It's not a badge contest on who has had the worst past, but more so of like how we can learn to handle it. And I promise you, in time, you get more resilient to these things. You work through them much faster and easier. It's very hard to deal with this kind of stuff early on. It's tormenting, and then you go back to the drink. It's like your mind's always going to be there. You always come back to reality the next day. No matter how messed up you get, you keep using, reality always comes back. It's always there, waiting. And that's one thing that always bothered me when I was drinking. It's like, the next day you have to face it. No matter what, you have to face it. That's why being sober is a much easier path long term. It's harder. It's much easier to just drink and just live in ruin. And I know some people I see doing this, and they're not going to change unless they want to change. And I sit as a bystander, and my heart breaks for people, but it is what it is. People are not going to listen unless they have open ears and they want to change. So I don't waste my time unless people come to me. I never press, quitting the drink on anybody unless they embrace it or bring it up. because otherwise they're not going to have any interest in it. A lot of people I grew up with drinking are still doing it, and they've never even had a forethought of quitting. When I did, I've always thought about it like, this is bad, this is stupid. A lot of my friends weren't even conscious of those thoughts, so they could possibly be 50, 60 at the bar. It is what it is. I don't want to be that. And I want to see everybody do better. But, yeah. Making videos for like 45 minutes here. But don't ever press people. And if they bring it up, then embrace it and talk about it. And, you know, try to help them in that, and, you know, in that forefront. And I'm losing my train of thought really badly. I apologize. I'm a little tired. So yeah, when you're constantly dwelling on these things, and you're chasing substances to just numb it out, it's like I've said, it's never going to end. It's just going to be your life stance unless you make a change. And, you know, be it therapy, psychology, that may help. I hear people say this stuff helps greatly. I'm not above it. I mean, I may seek it in the future, you know. I don't discount anything. But I'm facing it. I'm doing more of a heads-on approach, and it's working for me right now. I'm sure many things could help me progress faster and easier, but it's working for now. Trauma sucks. You know, grieving sucks. Life can suck. It can be very negative and emotionally damaging, but that's life. You have to accept it as a broad spectrum. Bad stuff happens every day. You got to be grateful for what you do have and the positive you do have. And it's hard sometimes. It's easy to get lost in that sauce, like, woe is me, woe is me. I'm constantly, like, trying to negate that kind of stuff. And if I'm, like, faltering, I try to, like, I have that inner dialogue, like, oh, you pansy, like, stop. Like, I'll always sort of, like, correlate to things like, oh, look, this person's 400 pounds doing this. I have no excuse. This person's elderly doing this. I have no excuse. And it motivates me. I constantly try to do that. Because there are times I falter, I'm exhausted. I'm like, man, I'm tired. Got to keep on going. That's the trick. You got to keep on going. But, yeah, when you get sober, you're going to face more emotions and feelings. And it's not fun for some people. It can, you know, there's a lot of things I'll think about and I'll tear up. I'm not afraid to admit it. I've cried morally in private. I don't cry around people or cry often, but I think about certain things throughout life. It'll hit me. You know, if you're one of those guys that are like, oh, men don't cry, you know, go elsewhere, man. You got to feel emotion, baby. If you're one of those tough guy alphas, I'm an alpha, and I tear up, buddy. But you can keep that stuff elsewhere, because I'm sure in your social circle, people don't even like you. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's about it. I lost my train of thought mid-video. I apologize.